Sixth year.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ha, ha, ha. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing our sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much for coming. What a treat. What a great way to start out our board meeting. And I like the way that everyone has on winter jackets and hats and gloves, and you guys are ready.
What did we say? Merry Christmas?
Make sure I get my Santa hat.
To acceptance of a gift from Wisconsin Public Service.
Mr. Bretlow, can you speak to this gift a little
Yeah.
more specifically than I can?
Yeah, it's a gift from Wisconsin Public Service, and it's geared towards our engineering and science department. We've reached out and written a total of 5 grants now, each of varying degrees. But basically, this is for getting new robotics, new computer systems, things to help that engineering class really go. We haven't designated the money for anything at this point, but certainly happy to be receiving $1,000.
And it was submitted for in the form of a grant.
Yep.
I have a letter here from WPS that was written to Mr. Banish, our engineering teacher, congratulating us on being one of the recipients of the Innovative Educator Grant offered through WPS. Pleased to announce the response this year. They received a number of quality educational projects focusing on math, science, and technology. After an independent review of all applications, they are announcing that they are funding 18 projects for a total of $16,813 in grants. 1,000 of that was awarded to us. So, bringing that to your attention.
Okay.
Turn the audio tape off because we have video rolling. One of the suggestions that came up from the board was that there's a lot of ways to communicate, and we don't always are not always able to communicate with our community on the good things that are happening in our school district because our community obviously is known at these meetings. So we decided we're going to videotape at least the beginning portion of the meeting, certainly the gifts, because very often we start school board meetings out with a number of gifts that the district receives, but also the superintendent's report so that people can get these updates on a monthly basis. We'll post it on our website, we'll post it on our Facebook page, and let people know that it's available for them if they have an interest in looking at what we're doing, some of the good things that we've got going. Certainly specific presentations that I think might be also video worthy will put on as well. This first piece of news is absolutely brand new news, came to my desk this morning. I'm not sure if I should have listed it under gifts for the board to accept or good news. but it certainly is a great way to start out a Monday morning. Received this from BMO Harris Bank. Actually, the letter was written to Mrs. Lau. It reads, Dear Mrs. Lau, BMO Harris Bank is successor trustee of the Arthur B. Michael Revocable Trust, dated April 27th of 2007. I regret to inform you that Mr. Michael passed away on June 1st, 2013. And as you may already know, Mr. Michael made a specific gift to Chilton High School in his trust. Enclosed for your reference and review is a redacted copy of the trust. The trust contains the following language: $150,000 to Chilton High School in Chilton, Wisconsin for scholarships in science and engineering to attend the University of Wisconsin-Madison, Wisconsin. So we quickly went to look to see who Mr. Arthur B. Michael may be. To the best of our knowledge, he appears to have been a high school graduate in 1940.
If it's the one we think it is.
If it's the same Arthur B. Michael. Clearly we have some work to do on this because there's nothing more listed here in terms of the amount of the scholarship, the number of scholarships to be given, if the district is only to work off of the interest and, put away the principal. So we're not sure if there's more specific language, but that's all the letter indicates. So this is a terrific gift to our school district. How wonderful of this gentleman and his family to think of Chilton High School with a gift of $150,000 to provide scholarships to our students. So science and engineering, and we're gearing up with science and engineering classes in our high school, so the timing could not be better. So this is absolutely wonderful news. As I get into the good news that the staff sent, it occurred to me as I was reading through this and during the season of Christmas and this time of giving, the school district could not survive without the support of our community, both financially and in every other way. We receive so much support from the Chilton School community. And as I looked at our district vision statement, our vision statement indicates that we want to be an innovative school district, we want to demonstrate continuous improvement, but we also want to develop an interactive partnership between the school district and the community that is mutually beneficial. So as I read through some of these good news pieces tonight, I want you to listen for those opportunities when the school district has reached out to the community and provided support, so that we're not necessarily always taking from the community, but that we're an interactive member of the community and we are providing support back. This first bit of news comes from Mr. Kevin Johnson. The 7th Annual Middle School Student Council Change Challenge proved to be another successful year in its Toys for Kids drive to the Salvation Army in Chilton. Over $2,700 was raised through a loose change challenge amongst kids in grades kindergarten through 8. Grades 5 and 2 raised the highest amounts in their respective buildings. Additional donations were received from the Chilton Lions Club, along with contributions from local families, area businesses including Walmart, Julia's Furniture, Save-A-Lot, Farm and Home, and Chilton Furniture. The council was exceptionally proud of its efforts to include the strong initiative of buying local through significant purchases from Save-A-Lot and Farm and Home this year. The council thanks all those kids, families, and businesses for their thoughtfulness during this time and bringing a lot of smiles to the faces of kids on Christmas morning that might not otherwise have much to smile about. It is a complete pleasure for the Student Council to conduct this annual drive. Merry Christmas, everyone. So $2,700, Mr. Apple. And then you took the kids shopping.
Yep, we go to, we buy some food cards at Save-A-Lot, and we then went to Walmart and purchased 11 bicycles and lots of other teenage type gifts rather than, they get lots of little kids gifts, but they don't get so many teenage gifts, so you give each group, tell them they're going to go buy $300-400 worth of items, and I think that's pretty cool.
I've received another piece of good news related to this morning. Peer helpers from the middle school must have volunteered at the Salvation Army this morning to help.
Move it all back over.
Correct. It said they worked extremely hard and accomplished a great deal, carrying heavy boxes of toys out to the trailers and then up the 19 steps of the Salvation Army. They were absolutely appreciated by the elderly volunteers this morning. So in every way possible, we have, our students and families have helped in this regard. This from Mr. Russ Furman. This was a surprise to me. I had no idea that this was happening. He writes, back in November, about a dozen of my students from various history classes worked with the Calumet County Historical Society to help them start the process of creating a computer-based inventory of their items. In November, that involved video recording and taking pictures. On Saturday, 3 of my students worked with Deborah Rainey, our contact person, to start data entry of the items. This will be an ongoing project for the rest of the year, and he writes that he'd send a copy of Deb's email to him from the weekend. And Deb wrote that she wanted to let us know that 3 students showed up this past Saturday morning. She said, I was so involved in showing them what to do, I forgot to ask their names. However, it was 2 boys and a girl. They did a great job, and I think the system we have set up on Google Drive will work. And then she goes on to thank us for their efforts. So great project there. Mr. Brightwell, were you aware that that was occurring?
Yeah.
Very neat way for us to interact with our community. This from Kelly Main, who is our business education teacher. She writes, the 7th grade computer apps exploratory class sent a majority of Chilton businesses a general thank you letter for all they do for our school and community. Students learned how to mail merge the letters and the labels. The response from the community was overwhelming. Mr. Apple has received numerous phone calls of appreciation for this gesture of thanks. And I received one such letter on behalf of the school board from the 7th grade. It came right around Thanksgiving time. So, Rich, I don't know if any comments you have from businesses that responded?
Just they called, and then I had a bunch of others who've seen me about just mentioned it was kind of surprising to get something like that, and they really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Just sometimes just a simple thanks is really all it takes. She also writes that the FBLA Regional Leadership Conference is coming up on February 1 of 2014. Registration is closed as of Friday. We have nearly 800 guests arriving that day. Jacob Schaller and the rest of the FBLA officers are working hard to make this conference a success. We are still looking for both Monday, January 20th, and Saturday, February 1st, for judges. So if anyone out there is interested in judging, please see Mrs. May. Jacob, any comments on that big event?
No.
You're going to have an 800 student party here, coming real soon.
Yeah. We still got some planning to go, but yeah, the 800 students. We were planning for around 700, but 800 is good too.
That's good too. Absolutely.
Can I piggyback on that?
Absolutely.
And we also, just for planning purposes, next year we have Austin Dawson running for the same seat that Mr. Shall is running for, and he's running uncontested. So we'll be hosting this event 2 years in a row.
Well, we will learn from the experience of this year, and Jacob will take good notes so that next year can just continue to improve. This in from Mr. Gillis. He says, this week members of the high school stage band will be out in the Chilton area spreading holiday cheer. Members are listed below with the places and times of their performances. On Tuesday, they'll be at Uptown Commons at noon. On Wednesday, they'll be at Century Ridge, all 3 buildings at 12:15. On Thursday, they will be at the Chilton Care Center at 8 a.m. and 8:40 a.m. On Thursday, again, they will be at Calumet Medical Center at 6:30 p.m. And on Friday, they will be at the Chilton High School Assembly, which will start at about 1:50 to 2 o'clock this Friday. This in from Candy Koenig's kindergarten teacher. She said they held their annual Christmas concert, the kindergarten students, on Friday, December 7th. The kids sang many songs related to the Santa theme, and after the concert, families came back to the classroom and had Christmas cookies and punch. On Wednesday, December 11th, the kindergartners had their gingerbread day. We read many versions of the story, and we did math and reading activities related to gingerbread, and they made gingerbread boy and girl cookies. Can you believe it? Those cookies got out of the oven, and we had to travel around school and find clues to try and figure out where they might be. Mrs. Schuster, did they ever find them?
He did.
Good.
He did.
Glad to hear
It was
that.
so good.
She writes tomorrow, which I think she wrote this on Monday today, so it must be tomorrow, will be Polar Express Pajama Day. They'll do activities related to the book The Polar Express, drink hot cocoa, and subtract with marshmallows, and retell the story And Santa will leave us the first gift of Christmas. Only in kindergarten, and you come to school wearing your pajamas. And one last thing, she said this Wednesday will be our Grinch Day. We will describe the Grinch with and without a heart. We will make smaller words out of letters, the Grinch, and they'll do a math journal entry about the Grinch taking presents from under the tree. So lots going on.
The big commotion today was some of the kids wearing their pajamas early.
Oh.
Step on their babies.
I see.
That can happen.
None of the staff members did, though, did they?
No, there's a couple
Good.
Spider-Man.
Good. This from Karen Schutte. She said the AFS Chilton High School Club, along with the AFS Chilton, celebrated 50 years of participation in the International Ford Exchange Program on Sunday, December 8th at the Chilton High School Library and Commons. AFS Chilton High School has had 74 students go to 37 different countries over 50 years. Chilton High School has welcomed 84 students from 29 different countries. About 75 families have opened their hearts and their homes to AFS students, and they continue to do so. AFS Chilton would like to thank the Chilton School Board for their support for the program that enriches our high school students, as well as the community that gives them an opportunity to experience a global society. So 50 years, quite a landmark for that organization. Really, truly remarkable. This from Mrs. Carrie Delabrew, first grade teacher. First graders are excited to exchange book presents this Friday before winter break. With literacy being the focus in first grade, the teachers are especially looking forward to the students sharing in their love of reading. So they bring a book and then share it. Nice, very nice. Mr. Apple, can you explain why a group of middle school students took a field trip to a restaurant in Appleton?
You start off like that, I never, there's a lot of stuff I can't explain about middle school students. They have been studying the Christmas Carol, and Christmas Carol was performed at the PAC. And so the kids went up there, and then they went afterwards to Victoria's for a meal. And so there was 100 plus kids there, all sitting, and they had it all organized, so they had to sit at the table. So if they ordered spaghetti meatballs, everybody that sat at that table had spaghetti meatballs. If they ordered something else, and that's how they kind of organized. So that's what they were.
So imagine being an employee at Victoria's restaurant in Appleton, and 100 middle school students walk in for lunch.
Yeah, I think they were a little worried.
Yeah, so after that experience, Mrs. D'Armand, who's a teacher, wrote this letter to the parents, and she asked that I share it with you. She said, "Dear parents, I want to take a moment to thank you for raising such wonderful children. The field trip today was a success, much to the manners and respect that you teach at home. Our Chilton Middle School students received many compliments from the staff and volunteers at the PAC and the staff, owner, and patrons of Victoria's Italian Cuisine. Staff of the PAC couldn't get over how well-behaved and polite the students were. We had many of the volunteers compliment our students and how nicely they were dressed. We even fooled some people into thinking that we were from a private, fancy school. The restaurant staff couldn't get over how well-mannered the students were. I personally heard many pleases and thank yous to the staff waiting on your children. A few of the servers told me they were very nervous to have over 100 students come in and thought it would be difficult. Upon leaving, they shared that this was the easiest group of over 100 that they have ever served and look forward to having us back in the future. Many patrons of the restaurant who were looking to have a nice lunch out on that Tuesday stopped and asked what school we were from and complimented our students on being so well behaved. These are behaviors that we talked about before the field trip, but it takes much more than one conversation for students to showcase these behaviors to the level that they did. I know that many of you have worked tirelessly over the years to raise your children with strong values, but you always don't get to see the fruits of your labors. Well, I saw them today and cannot thank you enough. So, very nice. This in from Mr. Arndt. I think you remember when Mr. Arndt was here and gave his presentation on the heart rate monitors. He said, we would like to add that Derek Geiser won a National Spirit System Award of a $125 Adidas gift card for being in the highest target rate zone for the longest amount of time during the month of October, Also, our school as a whole finished second in the country for having the highest amount of minutes in their target heart rate zones during class. And he sent a copy of the letter, so pretty impressive, Mr. Frankel.
Yeah, we, on the heart rate monitors too, just last week, we also helped, I don't know if I want to say diagnose, but we saw, based on the heart rate monitor data, a student that had a major heart issue. I won't go into details, but was then sought by a doctor and realized that he's got an, I don't know the exact diagnosis, but a significant heart issue. Now we're saving lives too.
That's pretty
Just-
impressive. Very impressive. This in from Melissa Ebert, who was here last month to share with you on educator effectiveness. She writes, the following staff members volunteered to share their knowledge on various topics at our recent in-service day. Jim Delabrew, Ann Bartle, Karen Van Offren, Kathy Knaus, Sue Salceder, Chris Sockel, Amy Hansen, Brittany Mayer, Corey Benke, Kelly Main, Sam Holst, Ty Brightlow, Jeff Horn, and Melissa Ebert. It is sometimes hard to get up in front of your peers and teach them, but the sessions offered for our staff development by our own staff members was positive and beneficial. A huge thank you to these staff members who stepped up and took on the challenge of presenting it in front of their peers. She also goes on to write about Casey Burke and Courtney Diarmond, who are two 7th grade literacy teachers, spending many extra hours planning engaging and exciting lessons for their classes. She writes, there are many nights these two ladies can be found planning together until well into the evening hours, long after many others have gone home. They are to be commended on the above and beyond work that they do to benefit students in 7th grade. So we thank them. And this was very nice. Mr. Roman sent this in. He said, Dr. Martin, don't forget to toot your own horn. He writes, Dr. Claire Martin continues to host coffees with the superintendent on a regular basis. Her latest one was this past Wednesday at 7 Angels. She finds these informal appearances to be both enlightening and informative, and she looks forward to representing the school district at these community gatherings. At this particular coffee, Mr. Carl Soderberg, who is the field representative for Congressman Reed Ribble, came. Because apparently he had seen that I host these coffees, and so he wanted to sit at the table and be a part of the conversation. And he saw me at the Veterans Day program that we had here. If you recall, he was here. Asked if he would come, and I said, you're always welcome, but sometimes they have a full table, and sometimes they don't. It just depends. I can't guarantee. So he came. He stayed for 45 minutes. No one else came. We had a very lovely conversation. He got up, and someone else in the restaurant came over and sat down because they figured that I was busy with this gentleman and didn't want to interrupt and didn't recognize him as being someone from Chilton. When Chilton people see other children, then the table kind of fills up and people will come. So it was just interesting. I did invite him to our tabletop exercise. I think Mrs. Law has sent him an invitation, so we will see him again. The next three pieces of information all have pictures with them. Mrs. Law, are you ready to roll? Do you have Beth Kaziak? She sent a picture. She said each year the Chilton Elementary School 4K children will learn the nursery rhyme Old Mother Hubbard, as well as the concept of giving and receiving during the season. They collect items to donate to the East Shore Humane Society. Here's a picture of some of the proud children with a sampling of items that they brought in. Great job, 4K. Mrs. Pleshik and I are very proud of our students again this year. So the concept of giving to others as part of your community starts very early with our students. A lot to be proud of. And Mrs. Mullman, you just walked in. We have some pictures from you that you sent to my attention today. Mrs. Mullman's share students adopted two elderly folks that really do not have a lot of family members in the area from a local nursing home. And the delivery day of the gifts to these two adults was today. Anything you'd like to add to these pictures?
It was just the most amazing experience I've had here at Chilton. Betty and Jim are both in their 60s and have no family in the area. And so the share class decided we would like to adopt them. And we got some list of things that they might like to have. And that's Betty. And she cried the whole time until we started singing songs, and then she sang with us. And the kids each made, there's 14 students in the class, each one made their own homemade card. And she read every single one and hugged each one of them and thanked them. We bought her a blanket, a fan, and some hand lotion. And as soon as she opened the lotion, she goes, I need this every day. She was so excited. And then a stocking with sugar-free candy for her. She was just very overwhelmed. She apparently was a nurse who worked in an assisted living place for years. And for her to have someone help her, she's not comfortable with that because she's so used to taking care of others. But now she can't. And so that was really, it's just a really great feeling. It was really nice to see all of the SHARE students with them and so excited.
Now, this is, you said they're in their 60s?
Yes. That's,
60s?
they're young for, that's what, I think it was Renee, the lady that she said they were both in their late 60s.
Wow.
So,
60s is getting younger
It
and younger.
is. You know, well, we were both surprised. We were surprised because it was like there's obviously some health issues.
Sure.
Because they're not old. I mean, nursing for a nursing home. So we're hoping that we can continue to be their adopted grandkids
Sure.
for a while. Jim was just a hoot. I mean, I introduced myself and told him about the class, and he said, I won't remember anything you said 5 minutes from now, but for right now, this is next. And then, you know, every student introduced themselves, and he read their card, and he made fun of all of the names because the name, you know, Cheyenne, that's a lot of E's in that name, isn't it? You know, and Trevor saw his name, and his spelling or writing isn't real clear, so he wanted to make sure he knew that his V looked like a J, so he would not be so lazy when he wrote his name. But I mean, he really, the kids just loved him, and he cried too. I mean, we got him a watch, and he was very touched, and a CD player because his broke, and he can't listen to Johnny Cash, and that was important to him, and so he was just so excited that he could listen to Johnny Cash again.
Thank you for doing this
It was great.
on behalf of our students, but also on our community as well.
It was a really great opportunity for the kids.
Great day to
Great
start
that you got everybody to smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Hey, they weren't in school, they were happy.
Yeah.
And then I have a picture of Mrs. Kleshek's classroom door. She writes, I've had the wonderful opportunity to have both Mrs. Schuster and Dr. Martin come to my classroom for observations and evaluations the past few days. Glad these opportunities occurred last week, as I have very little voice left this week. Singing Jingle Bells for story time would have been very difficult. She must have lost her voice this week. And she says, oh, and since I received the award for my door decoration being the biggest sock, I shared this feeling with play on words and gave nearly each of the elementary staff a big sock in the arm for doing such a wonderful job of teaching. I've had a great deal of fun with this little play on words. Maybe I should share it with the middle school and high school staff as well. So there was a door decorating contest. And she won.
Everybody won.
Oh,
Because of course I'm elementary and everybody.
love this kind of contest.
They all got first prize for something, and she got first prize for having the biggest sock on her door.
I see.
But they all won for something. Most hands-on or snuggliest or Mr. Wise's was the most unbelievable because he had 3 big stockings all just stuck full of things because Santa wrote him a note. He had been so good he got to have 3 stockings full.
Wow.
So he got a prize for being the most unbelievable.
Such a problem to have.
Really right.
And last but not least, Mr. Apple, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to share this information with the board this evening. A media release has been released today on your behalf. I'm going to share a little bit. I'm not going to read the entire thing. But the media release says a local resident has been chosen to help build schools in the Dominican Republic. Rich Apple, principal at Chilton Middle School and member of the National Association of Elementary School Principals, will participate in a Life Touch Memory mission to build a school in the Dominican Republic. The school will be built for the children in a small mountainous farming community. Life Touch, the leading national provider of school and family photography, has organized this trip and invited school administrators, principals, educators, and PTA members throughout North America to work along Life's Touch volunteers and Dominican nationals to help build the school. This is the third memory mission in Constanza. In 2011 and 2012, volunteers built an elementary school. That school now serves hundreds of children who otherwise would not have had a chance to receive an education. So I'll stop there. And any comments that you'd like to add on this upcoming trip of yours?
I had applied last summer at my national convention. I saw this presentation. They did a big thing before one of the big speakers. And so I just put my name in and thought nothing more of it until I got a phone call about a month or so ago and got selected as one of 20 educators across the country and in Canada. And then they take people from Life Touch, it's their philanthropy. And last year they went and built around the same village. And they built a school, a K-12 school that serves 500 some kids. And now what they're doing is they're building an adjacent technical school that is going to be teaching welding, carpentry, and some of the technical mechanic, those kinds of things. And so that's the school that we're building on this trip. And there's 48 people going. And I just got notified this afternoon that on the 23rd, they'll do a live feed from there with myself and some of the kids and teachers from this school that can connect to our school and put our kids on a connection through a Google Hangout. And we'll have 20 minutes that they can ask questions and learn a little bit more about this place that I'm at. And that's on the 23rd of January. We'll do that. So they gave us the schedule of what we're going to be doing. It's going to be a full week of home blocks.
This trip is in late January 21st to 28th.
28th, yeah.
Mr. Apples has requested to take vacation to accommodate the needs of this trip, and I have approved of that. So I believe that you've also talked to some of the organizations in the community to help support you to bring supplies over with you. And you've been
Hacksaws
supported.
and hammers and trawls, and a lot of it's just very basic tools that they need that we'll put into I can take one suitcase, full of tools, and then I'll just leave it there. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting.
I'd like to be at the airport when you go through.
I'm not very good at construction, so I'm sure they're not
Go
going
through
to
with your
use any
luggage.
sharp tools. I'm going to be the guy carrying blocks.
So great opportunity for our kids too to connect
Yeah,
with this
kids
experience.
they'll learn about this place beforehand and stuff. So they'll do a video and things up afterwards.
Be pretty cool. So you got new employment to come when you get back.
That concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Dr. Murphy. Moving on then, President's report. As you can see, just a few reminders again.